start. I constantly forget to do this, so I will edit it in. But this week on July 25th and July 26th, I will be in Texas, but I will be taking virtual appointments. So if you want to book mediumship, spirit baby, tarot, or an energy session, or even a consultation on the 25th and 26th, I have openings, and the link to check out those times is in the show notes below. August 8th, I will be doing in-person sessions in Slidell. You can see which appointments are available in the link below. Holding Space is August 21st, and that is a virtual meetup. It's so good. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to cover yet. We usually cover tarot and create our own tarot spreads, but most of us are reading. I actually haven't been able to pick up the book yet on psychic witches. So if I get to read it in time, or if anyone has questions on the book, we may cover that this month, but stay tuned. It's a little ways away. And then August 24th is Sunday service, which is our in-person yoga class and continuing education for energy work and intuitive development in Slidell. It's 2 hours, 2.5-ish hours, on Sunday, August 24th at Christina's Therapeutic Touch. If you want to follow along weekly where we touch base, you can subscribe to the Patreon. Now to our regular scheduled reading. All right, y'all, welcome to Zen.ishhhh. Welcome to this space. We are talking about the Leo new moon. I notice that sometimes I talk too fast and I'll say full moon instead of new moon, or like say the wrong day of the week. I apologize, but I know that most of you are picking up what I'm putting down, and at this point we've worked together long enough to where you know this is just how I operate. I am a lot of fire, I am a lot of air, and I just take off. So we're talking about the Leo new moon. When we're talking about the new moon, we are in an energy of darkness, of having to trust the things that we cannot see, of being surrendered to our intention and what it is we are calling forth. When we are in the energy of the new moon, I feel that oftentimes, we're working with the energy of the dark goddess or faith, trusting, and I feel like it can become very apparent where we are being guided or driven by fear. So this is a really good time to take note of anxieties or insecurities that are coming up. And instead of giving them too much power, maybe journal about them, talk to a friend about them, or work on mantras that tap into what you already know, especially in the energy of Leo, which is the energy of this moon. Leo is bold and confident and very brave. Leo energy, whenever I have a hard time connecting with an energy, Leo is the example I'm going to use because I recently went through this. My rising sign is Leo. And I noticed that when it came to talking about or connecting with the energy of Leo, I was very resistant to it and couldn't quite understand how it showed up. Because a lot of times when people talk about Leo energy, they're like, oh, this person's a Leo, or it's obvious they're a Leo, and it's because they're kind of obnoxious and loud and demand attention. And yes, that is an energy of Leo. Very ego motivated, needing validation, being the loudest motherfucker in the room. That is for sure Leo energy. Like doing everything for attention, very much so the energy of social media, I feel like right now. But Leo is also, I'm pretty sure it falls in as the first card of the second line of the major arcana. So it comes after the Chariot, and it is the very start of diving into a deeper sense of understanding ourselves on a soul level. Having the desire to recognize why it is that we're here and how we are here to serve. And in the major arcana, Leo is represented by strength. And it's also the number 8, which is a karmic number, the number of abundance and infinity. And if you really want to connect with this energy of 8, Chris Corsini has an abundance activation workshop that is unreal. I did it last August in the 8/8 portal, and I felt a difference in working with him. So I highly recommend. Leo, number 8. Number 8 is a karmic number. You receive what you deserve. As ye sow, so ye shall reap. The woman is the subconscious mind. Her dominion over the lion is through gentle and spiritual power rather than brute force. With this energy, we're tapping into enormous reserves of strength. And this follows the Chariot. And we talk about this, I don't remember if it was Holding Space or a Patreon reading, where in the Chariot energy and Cancer energy, we're really taming the mind. We are taming the wild mental horses. In the depiction of the Chariot, the charioteer is controlling the direction of the chariot by will and mental fortitude alone. And so it is asking us, if our mind, if our will is controlling the ship, driving the car, are we steering this bitch out of fear and self-doubt? Or are we truly trusting the call of our soul and the desire to dig deeper, even if we are unsure of the direction that we're going? I feel like half of this community is extremely confident in next steps. Like, they feel the tug in a specific direction. They know which books they want to read, what kind of teachers they're interested in following. And then some of us are on the precipice of making this choice, meaning we feel this pull, this realization that the way we are living, what we are focusing on isn't enough. We are becoming aware that we are sitting on the surface and we have this desire to dig deeper. I have this visual of like a child looking into a pond to see what's underneath, like putting their goggles on or not putting their goggles on and like looking to see this whole world underneath. And you want to explore, but there is, anytime we feel this pull, there's this knowing that when we peak, there's no going back. And that's the strength card. It is saying, bitch, I know you feel that this isn't enough, that you can't sustain like this, that you refuse to live the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of your life on the frequency that you're on now. And so there is this tug to be watching videos like this, to be listening to podcasts like this, to be in conversation. Like, you want to explore it, but you're afraid, rightfully so, of what happens when you start diving. Because once you begin unpacking and uncovering, there's no going back. And so Leo season is asking us, specifically this new moon, is asking us how and where is fear leading the ship, and if we could embody ourselves just a little bit more authentically, if we find ourselves, it can be so simple, y'all. Like, when everyone else is talking about how they love this show and you just don't like it, and they ask you how you feel about it, and instead of just being like, yeah, it's okay, you just answering honestly. Like, you don't have to start shit. You don't have to be a Debbie Downer, but just being like, I don't like it. And like, just such a simple way of like standing in your truth. It seems trivial, but it is truly in those teeny tiny moments that we have an invitation to let ourselves take up space. So I have 3 different representations of the strength card here, and we're going to do a pick a card reading. And I'm going to read a little snippet of each of these so that you can choose which reading you want to listen to. This is from the Sacred Web Tarot. This is the strength card in Sacred Web. Embrace the power of your voice and wield it in service to the world. Embrace the power of your voice and wield it in service to the world. The next is from Spirit Song, and it's an elephant. Elephant is a reminder of what your life's motivation is, fueling you with the divine and inner strength to pursue it. Elephant is a reminder of what your life's motivation is, fueling you with the drive and inner strength to pursue it. And then the last card is number 8 in the Vision Quest Tarot deck. And there isn't a card that relates to strength specifically in Vision Quest. It's the card of balance, and it relates to temperance and justice. And there are cards in this deck that both represent temperance and justice, but this is a combination of both. But I still wanted to use this number 8 card. And I feel like justice is a card of karma, and temperance is a card of balance and being 1 foot in the human experience and 1 foot in the spiritual experience and doing this dance really well. And I feel like when we are working with the energy of strength and Leo, it is about being genuine and making choices from a place of your soul instead of a place of serving your ego. And I think temperance and justice both of them balance this energy really well. So the snippet from Vision Quest is your inner being urges you to shift from doing it to letting it be. Your inner being urges you to shift from doing it to letting it be. So I will have the timestamps in the show notes below, as well as links to all of these decks. If you want a deeper dive into the actual astrology of right now, Molly McCord, Chris Corsini, Jessica Lanyadoo from Ghost of a Podcast, and Behati Life are very good, very trusted resources. I highly, highly recommend, and I will link all of them in the show notes below. See you guys in your reading. All right, y'all, pile number 1 is the Sacred Web Tarot deck. And let's take a moment to tap into this specific card and see what comes up. The first thing that I notice is in this card that represents the energy of Leo, there are swords, which I find interesting because swords in the traditional tarot deck represent air, which brings me back to what we were talking about in the intro to this video, where it's about truth and transparency and being really honest with yourself. Especially the 2 swords brings up 2 of Swords, which is a card of operating from an intuitive place, which makes sense considering we are in the energy of the new moon and it is dark. And I kind of see you as a knight traveling down this hallway where there are no lights, and you are standing at the ready, sword extended, trusting the path before you, knowing that this is the hall, this is the space that you're meant to move down. And although your nervous system is turned all the way up and there's fear and there's doubt and anxiety, there is this, I feel it in your gut, like pulling you forward. And although you're prepared to meet resistance or whatever scary thing hides in the dark, you also wouldn't be moving down this path if you didn't know on some very deep level that there was a light at the end of the tunnel, that it is worth moving through the fear and the doubt and the self-sabotage to get to this place. I also feel like with the swords present, there is something here about using your voice to speak your truth. And I feel like a quivering or a wavering or this like heat that rises up in your body when it comes time to express something verbally that's really difficult for you to express. That's giving me this like growing up in a home, for example, where you tried to express yourself, where you used your voice, and every time you used your voice it was shut down. Or there's some scenario like a relationship or something where every time you used your voice there would be a fight or you would shut down. And so now you have been taught that it's not safe to speak your truth or to express your needs, and it's better to just swallow your feelings, swallow your thoughts, because that is the way that you've learned to keep the peace. And it feels like using your voice in this Leo new moon is a really good practice in courage and in taking up space. And I feel like this is facing something head on. Like, this line in this picture is unwavering. And I also like that the eyes are blue in this card. I don't know if you can see that. It's connecting the element of water to me, especially since we are experiencing a Leo new moon at the very top of this season. So there is still a very watery element present. I feel like this is about expressing your emotional needs, but also expressing from a place of love. Like, really, I feel like it requires such a safe space for you to speak. And speaking is especially something so heavy on your heart, whether it is a huge thing, a small thing that feels really huge because of the fear, or a huge thing that needs to be expressed. It's hard to know until you've already spoken if the space is safe. And it's also hard to speak from a place of love when you've become so worked up and almost paralyzed by fear. It takes a conscious effort to not turn the thing that you need to say into an argument or into like a you against this person, and approach whatever topic this is from a neutral place of just expressing yourself, and maybe saying that at the top of whatever it is. Like, this isn't easy for me to do. Like, I'm having a hard time expressing this. And a really cool practice that's very helpful is writing something out a few times before you say it, or even recording it in a voice memo so that you can practice. It really does help organize your thoughts and your feelings into a way that makes it easier to say out loud. So, pile number 1, I feel like this is an awful lot about using your voice and trusting the direction that you're moving in with unwavering faith. For more content like this, check out the Patreon, and the kindest, most supportive thing that you can do is share this video and this reading on your social media, in an email, or to someone that you feel would really appreciate this kind of work. I appreciate you so much for being here, and I will see you in our next video or over on Patreon. Bye. All right, our next strength card, pile number 2, is the Elephants. The card of courage and endurance from our Spirit Song deck. I cannot help but think of the Hierophant when it comes to an elephant. The artist who did this deck has another deck where the Hierophant is represented by an elephant, and the first thing I think every time I see this card is ears and listening. So I'm wondering what it is you're hearing lately, and if you are moving in spite of the voices that you hear, the narrative that you hear, or the stories that you tell yourself. Again, just like pile number 1, this is a very straightforward energy, so I don't feel like there's a lot of bullshit or beating around the bush here. And if you find yourself beating around the bush, I feel like this is a call to check yourself and be very upfront and straightforward. I'm also getting that the time to do that, the window to do that is short, and to say what you need to say, to do what you need to do, that this is the time to act. It also doesn't feel hasty because the elephant is, I wouldn't say slow moving. I feel like the elephant can cover a lot of ground, but they're it's not hurried. It's more of like, you've thought of this for a long time, quit dicking around and just do it. There also is a lot of grace here. I'm getting the song Baby Mine from Dumbo. I was actually saying that in my car the other day, thinking about all of the perfect angel babies in my life who I love so much. And sometimes my favorite way to pray for them is to sing for them. So, side note. And the vibe of that song is encouraging you to love yourself, or encouraging someone in your life who is maybe struggling with how harsh the world can be, to see their beauty and to recognize their beauty. There's this practice that's coming to mind that I will do sometimes when body image or like body dysmorphia is so loud. And instead of utilizing the mirror so much, I'll get dressed based on how something feels. Like, obviously, I want to match when I leave the house, but instead of overthinking how it looks, I'm like, do I feel good today? Or when I'm fixing my hair, I'm like, does this hairstyle feel good? You know, like, how does it feel good for my hair to be in a ponytail and off my face? Does it feel good for it to be down and in my face? If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. But basing the way you present yourself on how it feels. So I'm feeling this group is confident and is a little bit hesitant to make the next moves because it's scary. And the invitation is to enhance that level of confidence with positive mantra, catching, like, not listening to or feeding narratives that do not serve what you are serve the path that you are drawn to walk. So as soon as you tell yourself something's hard and you don't think you can do it, catch yourself and be like, I can do this. The more I do this, the easier it gets. Or this isn't hard, show me how it can be easy. Or I grow stronger every day, I listen to my body, I am smart with my money. Like, getting rid of the narratives of self-doubt and sprinkling a little extra confidence on there by being really mindful of how things make you feel, and presenting yourself, dressing yourself, grooming yourself from a place of this feels good as opposed to how it looks, if that makes sense. Pile number 2, I appreciate you so much for being here. Follow along on Patreon for weekly readings just like this. And the kindest thing you can do to support me and the work that I'm doing is share this video with someone that you love, or on your Facebook or social media, and just share the goodness. I will see you guys in the next video. The card of balance, the card of temperance and justice, a card of stillness, an invitation to feel like you're enough, period. Just as you are doing what you're doing. I feel like this group is doing the most and is doing a really good job and worked really hard to get to this space. And so your job right now is to stay confident and trusting that all of the choices you made to get you to this moment are good. I also feel like in the energy of the new moon, and I really like the reflection of the water being so blurry here, because, and her eyes are closed. So I feel like there is such a trusting element here, and kind of repeating the message in pile 2 is, instead of hearing and taking in all of the outside noise, because I feel like that's really distracting for this group right now, closing your eyes and focusing on your breath and asking yourself, how do I feel in the life that I've created for myself right now? Like, truly, how do I feel? How do I feel in my relationships? How do I feel in my energy? How do I feel in my body? How do I feel in my finances? How do I feel in my resources? How do I feel in my creative endeavors? How do I feel in my work? How do I feel in my time spent? And like, how do you feel? Not how do you think you should feel? Not how does the world think you should feel based on their metric of validation and success? How do you feel? I feel this often in where I'm at in my life right now. And I think often about all the choices that got me here. And I have to remind myself that I wouldn't trade the life that I chose for anything, because I have time for my family. I have time to visit my grandma. I get to create my own schedule and show up to support. Really, I feel like being there for the people that I love is the most important, and caring for my home and doing work like this where I can share magic with people who need a little reminder that we create our reality. And there are a lot of things that I hear in the outside world that make me question my worth and my value, and if I've lost my fucking mind or not. But truly, when I get quiet and I breathe, I am so grateful for the space I'm in now, and I truly trust where I am feeling called to move, and that I am always provided for and supported by forces bigger than just myself. And I feel that's the message for this group too. Like, chill out. Take a minute to check in. Like, look back at old journals and look back at 5 years ago, who you were and who you are now, and notice all the ways that you've changed. And yes, it's beautiful and wonderful to want more for yourself. Like, this feels like a very ambitious group, but also celebrate the ways that you have found more balance in your life. Celebrate the ways that you have created something out of nothing, and you're walking this unknown path, creating something that you're like forging a path. You're creating a new way for people to follow. I feel like this is an inspiring group, and you don't know how much you're touching other people. I also feel, I love this so much. Like, oftentimes when I'm trying to tap in or doing energy work and feeling congested as far as being like a channel goes, or like being able to feel connected to God, I'll picture this funnel at the crown of my head and just light and love pouring in. And I almost feel like this jar on top of her head is the same thing, like inviting in the love of God to just pour through your energy body, which would be a beautiful practice for this group right here, right now. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy life to receive this message. The kindest, most loving thing you can do to support me and this channel is send this work to someone who could use it. Love you guys so much. Peace out.